थोड़ा बड़ा करो। एक रेड ले लो, आप ही ले लो ना हाफ।
Now we will request His Holiness to please address the gathering.
Respected brothers, here no sister, only brothers. No, so sisters. And the rest of brothers, sisters. I'm extremely happy participate this meeting. Now I think, usually when I give talk, completely informal way. I don't like formality. And when I start talk, I always refer brothers, sisters, that's all. Now within the brothers, sisters, I want to know now here the generation of 21st century and the generation of 20th century. So those people whose age below 20 and maybe below 30 and 20, 15, these people are generation of 21st century. So including myself and you also, and most of us, the generation of 20th century. Now, real sort of hope on generation of 21st century. 20th century gone. So I would like to know those younger people whose age below 20 or at least below 30. Raise hand. Okay, good. Now, our century, 20th century, passed. When we look back, 20th century, a lot of killing. First World War, Second World War, including use nuclear weapon, and then Korean War, Vietnam War, and so on. These wars, killing, violence, succumb or created by destructive emotion. And short-sighted, and lack of moral principle, lack of sense of concern of others' well-being. And whenever face some problem, they always believe, use force. So that kind of mental attitude, still beginning of 21st century, still there. Look, each morning, I usually get up about 3:30 morning. But I go to sleep very early, about 6 o'clock. So from 6 to 3, 9 hours sleep. So each morning, I really now feel, these days I feel, when I wake up, yes, I enjoy 9 hours sleep. But during those 9 hours, how many people die through bullet and die with a lack of food or facility, starvation? When we open news or television, always say, killing, killing, killing. Then corruption. As I think one of you mentioned, those ordinary people, poor people, suffer most. So in this case, even religion now causing for violence. Science brought the powerful instrument to kill. So now time comes. We have to think more deeper way, more wider way. If present sort of world situation of the world go continuously, then this 21st century also will be similar century of violence, century of suffering. We, particularly me, now 83-year-old person, or 82 now, within a few months I reach 83. So maybe next 10 years. So no need much worry, I will go. Then this generation of 21st century, you see, if you see present situation, the previous sort of centuries sort of habit, killing, bully, cheating, you will suffer. So now, generation of 21st century should think more seriously. Now, big question. A lot of suffering. This suffering, human creation. We created this suffering. Except nature disaster, and even global warming, there are also our sort of activities, our behavior, some sort of contribution. Our total negligence about the global warming, these things. So many are problems. Actually, we have the responsibility. Now, you should think more seriously how to reduce, eventually, how to eliminate these suffering which created by human ourselves. Now scientists say basic human nature is more compassionate. And there's plenty of reasons. So basic human nature, not violent. Because compassionate nature, so peace automatically. There. Even during, you see, we still, in mother's womb, a mother's mind, constant anger, very harmful for unborn child. And then obviously, after birth, you see, next few weeks, mother's physical touch is very important factor for proper enlarging child's brain. Then obviously, after birth, a few days, mother neglect you, die. So our life starts with love, compassion. So, entire 7 billion human beings come that way. So that's our common experience. And then common sense. See, the externals or the dress or these things make some differences. But main thing is human face. Human face, smile there, then I feel happy. No matter how sort of luxury or sort of dignified dress or something, without smile, then I feel, oh, no use to spend more minutes with that person. Isn't it? And your own sort of neighbor, one neighbor always say, hello, hello, and showing smile, you feel happy. Another neighbor, maybe very rich, very powerful, but not showing basic human sort of also the compassion. Maximum may say, hello, not showing genuine human warm feeling. I think then you prefer go this side, not that go. Occasionally, if you want some money, if you want some political sort of support, then you have to go that person. Otherwise, on human nature, human level, we always appreciate the neighbor who really showing you human affection. So, our common experience, common sense, and a scientific finding, basic human nature is more compassionate. And logically, we are social animal. Even other social animals, they have some kind of limited altruism there. Because individual survival depend on rest of the community or group. So like an elephant or some many other social animals, they have certain sort of mental quality which bring together. Then we human beings, we also social animal. Each individual's future depend on the rest of the community. Now, ancient time, yes, the direct link with small community. Now, today's world, 21st century, now entire world human being is our community. It's not only the nation to nation, but continent to continent, heavily interdependent. That's now reality. Under that circumstances, now, please, you think more about oneness of 7 billion human beings. So then, mainly our mental attitude, consider entire 7 billion human beings as a human brothers, sisters, and think more future of humanity. With that motivation, science also become constructive. With anger, science can develop awful destructive weapon. So sometimes I feel pity. Oh, really great scientists. Their sort of brain is something very marvelous, but that marvelous sort of brain used for killing. How bad, how sad. Then religion also. Religion, wonderful. I think among all our different professions, religion is the only thing which brings, which carries the message of love and brings inner peace. But religion itself now become one factor to, as a separation with people, and causing killing. Unthinkable. So, due to lack of moral principle, religion also become destructive. And then, so therefore, I feel the moral principle. That is, you see, sense of concern of others' well-being, and sort of oneness of humanity. That is the basis of moral principle. So this is the science and religion sometimes become destructive. All these, whether become constructive or destructive, ultimately depend on moral principle. Moral principle, not necessarily accept God or something, no. 7 billion human beings, entire human being have the potential of compassion, as I mentioned earlier. So, as far as religion is concerned, now today's population, human being, 7 billion human being, about 1 billion human being, non-believer. Then I often, you see, frankly, sort of saying people, they suppose 6 billion religious believer, but a lot of mischievous believer there. Really, many troublemakers come from religious group. So therefore, now we need the serious sort of effort for promoting secular ethics, irrespective of the believer or non-believer, believe that religion or that religion. That is secondary. Basically, we are same human being. Basic human nature is more compassionate, and we are social animal. So, with moral principle or secular ethics, secular means here, according to Indian tradition, wonderful. According to Indian tradition, the secular means respect to all religion, and also respect to non-believer. That's wonderful. That's really realistic. So therefore, India's constitution also based on secular, isn't it? According to Indian understanding, secular not at all disrespect religion or any religion. So that India's sort of tradition, the moral principle according to secular concept, secular ethics, is, I think, very relevant to today's world. Now, how to promote that? Through preaching, through ritual, through prayer. I'm a Buddhist monk. I spend every day 4 or 5 hours prayer and meditation, something, and also vipassana, shamatha vipassana. But I don't believe my sort of prayer will affect our world. I don't believe. Prayer to Buddha is a benefit to myself, not the community. I don't believe. So therefore, and one way you can describe me, a non-believer. And then I think in the reality, I think at least in this country, I think 4,000 or 5,000 years, you see, pray to God, or whatever you call the name, but some kind of supreme sort of power there. And Chinese civilization also, I think, some connection to that. Egyptian civilization also some form of faith, prayer. But frankly speaking, fail to bring happy world. I often used to telling, if we have opportunity meeting with Buddha or Jesus Christ, Muhammad, and Karsachupati, Mahavira, and so on, and ask them, please bring peace on this planet. I think they may say, who created problem? Who created violence? Not created by God, but you, human being. So it is your responsibility to reduce violence and through that way bring peace. So it is our responsibility. We carry all sorts of work to create more violence and meantime pray to God. Contradiction. So sometimes I jokingly telling my Indian friend, you see, Indians basically very religious-minded people. I think each morning, I think each family, I think every family, almost I think some incense and then some flower, and in front of statue of Ganesh or Shivaji or so on, pray. So it seems to me, they pray to God, please bless me in order to success my corrupted life. Wrong. If God really full of compassion, then should not give blessing. Blessing must develop by yourself. Practice compassion and show compassionate attitude to other. Think about humanity. Think about the world. Then God will bless you. Otherwise, our usual sort of way of life, I don't believe. Too much hypocrisy. Too much hypocrisy. So nowadays, ultimately, science, wonderful, seeking truth, mainly material level. Now modern science, particularly especially also the brain specialist, now they gradually touching about human consciousness, human mind. So now, I think within this century, I think the scientific research, scientific knowledge, not only external matter, but also internal thing, I think will grow. Then science also, you see, now like quantum physics. Quantum physics is a certain concept. These things, external things, does not exist objectively. Everything ultimately related with observer. That concept, one time, the Indian nuclear physicist Raja Ramana, late Raja Ramana, he once told me, quantum physics in the West, something new concept. But in this country, he found 2,000 years ago, some sort of great philosopher, thinkers, sort of writing, mentioned that nothing exists independently. He mentioned. So you see, the science become more closer. Many scientists are now really showing interest about human mind, about human emotion. The real troublemaker is our emotion. Emotion combined with compassion, very good. But emotion combined with anger, hatred, distrust, jealousy, then the emotion really brings disaster. So, emotion, good. It's a source of energy. But should combine with positive emotion, like that. So here, the ancient Indian knowledge, ancient Indian psychology really have great potential. Firstly, fuller knowledge about system of emotion. Usually I call map of emotion. Then, with fuller knowledge, awareness about a map of emotion, then much easier to tackle these destructive emotions, such as anger, hatred, like that. Although these sort of teaching, all major religious tradition used to teach us practice of love, practice of tolerance, forgiveness, these self-discipline, these things. But most sort of the because of theistic religion, I think mainly pray, faith. Non-theistic religion, such as Sankhya philosophy, and one part of Sankhya philosophy, no concept of God, no concept of creator, and the Jainism also no concept of creator, and Buddhism also no concept of creator. So everything depends on yourself. So therefore, you see these traditions, you see the emphasis, everything depends on you. So your mind must change. You should not follow your anger, hatred, these things. That not through prayer, not through wish, but the emotion, like physical. You see, physical, some sort of a virus or there. Simultaneously, we also, by nature, we also have sort of certain element which combat these virus. So similarly, in our mind, the destructive emotion there, but equally within the mind, the sort of antidote or opposite sort of was the emotion also there, like compassion, part of our mind. Anger is part of our mind. Anger and compassion cannot go together. Therefore, more compassionate mind there, anger reduce. More anger compassionate feeling reduce. So every sort of system, every sort of change due to sort of contradiction, like heat and cold, and everything go like that. So, and within the mind or within the emotion also, you see, there is a contradictory sort of factor. So, other animal, social animal, have some potential of altruism, but no intelligence. They cannot sort of increase this positive emotion. We have this intelligence. So use our intelligence. Then, you see, to take new shape our emotion. It's not meant for heaven or next life. No, within this life, in order to be happy person, the material thing also is a part of the facility or source of our satisfaction, mainly sensorial level. But sensorial level happiness not long-lasting and not much effect. Very easy, you can see the person, all the facility there, and seeing nice thing, hear music or some other things, and then good food, good smell, good touch, including sex. All the sensorial level, you have all the facility. But at mental level, some sort of worry there. That person will not be happy. Isn't it? All the facility for sensorial experience there, but mental level, too much worry, too much anger, that person will never be happy. Other hand, on mental level, there's more compassion, and there is sort of certain sort of mental attitude which can resist the sort of the kasa chukti. Usually you see the source of unhappiness or anger, provocation, kasa, provocation. Then that person, even surrounded by negative sort of things, but that person can give peace of mind. Here I often use mentioning, one time in Barcelona, one monastery. Once I visited there, so the organizer told me, one Catholic monk, he wanted to see me. And of course, most welcome. And he come. Then the organizer also already informed, he spent 5 years in the mountain without hot meal, just tea and bread. So when I met him, I asked him, I was told, you spent 5 years in the mountain, hermit life, and very little hot meal. And I asked him, 5 years, what kind of your practice those years? Then he answered me, practice of love. When he mentioned that in his ear, in his eye, some special significance. He enjoyed genuine peace of mind. The physical level, hermit life, very poor facility. But through mental level practice, he can achieve the peaceful life, happy life, compassionate life. I think on the other hand, I think among Indian also, those billionaires, I don't think they are really, mentally really happy. There's too much jealousy, too much sense of competition, and too much stress, isn't it? So a lot of problem, a lot of sort of worry. So physical comfort will not reduce mental level comfort. Mental level comfort can reduce physical level difficulties. So now, materialistic life, materialistic world. So a lot of problem there because lack of inner peace. I often was telling in the West, we should pay more attention about our inner value. So now here, I often use it telling in this country, in India, you already have very good knowledge about our mind or emotion. Now, this knowledge, when you, I say, modernize, so you also, you see, too much pay attention about the material value. So modern India's, say, way of thinking, way of life, and including modern education, is very much oriented about material value. This is not adequate. Existing modern education system will not be guarantee to develop happy society, happy individual, happy nation. So now you must pay more attention about our 1,000-year-old ancient Indian tradition about emotion, knowledge about emotion, and knowledge how to tackle emotion. India, as I mentioned earlier, very religious-minded nation. But most case, religion is just ritual and prayer. That's not the real level of religion. Real level of religion is transform our emotion. That will not take by prayer, faith, but must use our intelligence. In order to use our intelligence, we need more knowledge how to tackle these things, how to prove this destructive emotion is so destructive, and the positive emotion because of the useful. This intelligence of brain. So therefore, now one of my commitment last now few years, I fully committed try to revival of this ancient Indian knowledge about inner world and combine two things. I think India, only this country, India, can do combination of modern education, modern technology, modern science, and these things, and modern economy, modernization, plus knowledge about the inner world, ancient Indian psychology, Indian knowledge about psychology, these things. That brings inner peace. So material value brings us physical comfort. Ancient Indian knowledge tackle our emotion, that brings us inner peace. So India, I think, firstly, revive this knowledge, combination, modern knowledge and ancient Indian knowledge. Then India, most populated democratic country, you can make certain contribution for rest of the world. Firstly, to China, no question. China, historically, Buddhist country. Now today, over 400 million Buddhists there already. So therefore, I think the Buddhism is one of India's religion. I think ancient time, I think India, I think most expansionist Buddhist teaching cover whole Asia. So therefore, I think you Indian can combine the ancient knowledge, consider inner peace, and materialistic knowledge brings physical comfort. So that I want to share with the brother, sister, general, and particularly the generation of 21st century. So sometimes I jokingly used to telling people when I talk the younger generation, if we make effort, start now, I think the 2030s, 40s, or some change may happen. And indefinitely, within this century, we can change world. So I will not see. I cannot see. So after 15 years, 20 years, I may heaven, or according to theistic religion, I may be in heaven or maybe in hell. But even in hell, I can get permission to revisit world. Then I will watch this 21st generation, whether you are sincerely doing something right way or wrong way. If you see this generation, 21st century generation, doing well, then when I return to hell, I will report, now hell can reduce. If, other hand, you still carry the old way of thinking, or use force, kill, bully, cheating, then I will report, hell should expand. So therefore, now everything, in order to create this 21st century, peaceful century, and peaceful world, compassionate world, everything depends on the generation of 21st century. Now please think more seriously. In that respect, Indian youth have, I think, great potential. Think more seriously. You see the more attraction about it. If some corner there, dark, some may sleeping, then I think this noise is good. Wake up. So, thank you. That's all. Thank you.